Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 1v1 on Langreskaya. Our heroes today are going to be HappyPhace, playing for the Soviets, and his opponent today is going to be RtN Con, so we'll just call him Con, playing for the Germans. Now before we talk about our players, I do have to mention that at the time of casting this, we have been blessed with a patch which has hidden properties. So yeah, yesterday in fact, well at the time of casting this that is, a patch hit, so unfortunately for, well, some of the fans here, the replays are no longer available because, well, yeah, the patch hit and yeah, it breaks the replays from previous patches, so sorry about that. I think I have about 2 maybe replays that were left there in the oven that never got cooked, so yeah, sorry about that. But feel free to send more and I'll try to get to them as soon as possible. So anyways, enough of that. Let's take a look at what our players have to offer. So the one we're looking at right now, RtN Con, top 100 player right here. His Soviet play is ranked at 80 at the time of casting this, and 72 for the Germans that we're seeing him on right now, so his strongest faction, I guess you could say. And HappyPhace is as well a top 100 player right here. At the time of casting this, his Soviet play is ranked 93, so very nice. I mean, not the top tier players, or well, the highest players, but still top tier. I consider anything under, I mean, yeah, in the 100 range, amazing players. I would wish that I could get to be that good, so yeah. Anyways, enough of that. Let's take a look at what has been happening. No engagement so far. Looks like we're going to have one engagement over here on the fuel in the far left-hand side. Pyos and Combat Engineers. Tech-wise, we saw that HappyPhace opened up with Tier 1, so it's very interesting to see that. However, he didn't get anything from Tier 1. He went for conscripts, and only now is actually getting a scout car, so an interesting choice going for the Tier first rather than conscripts, but I suppose, you know, he has his build order in set, so, I mean, yeah, whatever. Khan, for his part, went Tier 1 like you would expect, getting himself 2 Grenadiers and 2 MG42s, so very nice. So engagement on the left-hand side, it looks like the Soviets ended up winning that one. The Combat Engineers didn't really take much damage, and the conscripts got in there to push away that Pioneer squad, so pretty much instant retreat, so they're fine. Conscripts over here on the right-hand side, taking some shots from an MG42. They try to URA to get out of the way, but they do end up getting suppressed at the edge by the guys trailing behind, and end up having to retreat. Scout car moves into the field and started taking some shots at the Grenadiers that are currently in heavy cover, so it will not really be able to do a lot of damage to them. But it will. I mean, look at that. Damage is going down. Nobody is garrisoned in that scout car, so the scout car will not be able to, you know, do incredible amounts of damage like it normally would. Flamethrower engineer would be amazing in there, but nothing so far. Conscripts going for the cutoff up in the north, and they do manage to get that. MG42 sets up to push them away, and they start crawling out of range. However, there are 2 MG42s looking at them, and they are continuing to crawl, and they manage to barely crawl out of the range of that MG42. However, second MG42 leapfrogs essentially, with the other one covering it, into position, and makes it so the conscripts do have to retreat. So HappyPhace does manage to get a cutoff here and deny the resources, pretty much the entirety of the resources, for Khan for a little while, but he will be able to capture that, and pretty soon will start to regain his income. Doctrine selected a little while ago for HappyPhace, pretty much since the very start, and that is the Shock Rifle Frontline Tactics Doctrine. So we're going to see some shock rifles coming out, and we'll also see, you know, some KV-8s probably. And I'm not sure if we'll see an IS-2, but the KV-8 we can pretty much guarantee. Okay, so scout car now on the right-hand side, it's ferrying a conscript squad just around. While it isn't, you know, the best unit to garrison inside it for harass, you can always just garrison the conscript squad inside this to get it behind an MG42 and then pop it out. So it's a nice utility vehicle there. Combat Engineers in the center getting caught while laying down a mine. One of them gets shot, and the MG42 pushes them away. The mine gets cancelled, and the resources refunded. Conscripts going for the strategic point over here, and we now have a sniper on the field for HappyPhace, garrisoned in that car, moves up, takes a shot at the Grenadiers, and down goes one. Scout car backs off just to not risk the sniper to the Germans, and the Grenadier squad backs off at 2 men. Conscripts are forced off of the field, and we have a conscript squad moving in for a flank. The MG42 turns around to face it, and the conscripts decide to retreat as they notice that their flank failed. So, nice reaction there. Sniper in the scout car moves up. Gunner in on the MG42 goes down, and the sniper takes another shot at the Grenadiers that they are pursuing, and forces the Grenadier squad to retreat. So very nice usage of that sniper. Keep in mind that while the scout car is moving, the sniper is less accurate. So you kind of want to do that like HappyPhace did right there. He went and stopped, the shot went off, and then he moves. So by stopping when the shot is going to go off, it's, you know, you increase the chances of hitting. Obviously, when a unit is retreating, you also have reduced accuracy. So, you know, it was a lucky shot there, I suppose you could say. But yeah, I mean, by stopping the car, it increases the accuracy. So far, we see Tier 2 going down, or already down for Con, and he gets himself his own scout car to try to combat that Soviet scout car. We're probably going to see a autocannon go up on this guy. Right-hand side, MG42's pushing up. Grenadiers there for support. And we see... Oh, interesting. Okay. Kind of like that. Okay, so we see that Con decided to go for the Osttruppen Doctrine, which is odd to go for at this point in the game, because, well, I mean, usually you see people go Osttruppen early on and start pumping out those Osttruppen to try to gain some map control, right? But yeah, he goes for it later on and gets Osttruppens. Now, I say I like this, even though there is already a Panzer Grenadier squad on the field, but I like this because these guys, well, I mean, they are pretty useless in a fight, but they are pretty cheap, and you kind of don't care if a sniper starts shooting at them, so you can kind of use them as fodder for the snipers, but we'll see what happens there. So more Osttruppen getting called onto the field. Shock troops now on the field for HappyPhace. He gets a sniper out there, taking some shots at the MG42, and the Osttruppen just sitting there, pretty much unopposed. Well, I mean, not minding what's going on, and yeah, there are 2 men. Scout car did take an 18-8 to the face, but manages to get out of there. Grenadiers pushing forward, sniper just keeping them at bay, taking shots, not allowing them to cap very easily. And the Soviet scout car also getting repairs, so very nice. So both players managing to keep their cars alive. Osttruppen pushing forward, and this is what I'm mentioning, that I like that fact, because, well, the sniper is there, and the sniper can take a shot at the Osttruppen, but the Osttruppen, you know, you kind of don't care if they die, because they're very, very cheap. So, they can lead the charge, just to, you know, get sight range, and the shots of the sniper are essentially not really that useful. So Scout Car pushes forward in an advance with the Osttruppen getting a little bit battered. Scout Car for the Soviets is still on the field, now has a flamethrower engineer, which is actually very, very bad for the Osttruppen. The Osttruppen die very quickly to that. Obviously they can Faust, so you need to be very careful, but a lot of the times they die by the time they get their Faust off. However, there is a half-track on the field for Con, and he's reinforcing his Osttruppen very quickly, allowing them to stay on the field and just bolster his numbers. So very nice, like I said, I like it. I mean, it's a little bit weird that he didn't get it to start off with, but, you know, it's still okay. Soviet Scout Car going for the flank. He's going to try to go for the cutoff point. However, there is that strategic point in the center currently captured by Con, and he has the munitions point, which means that even if this drops, he's still connecting the entirety of his resources. So, an admirable attempt here by HappyPhace, but it's not actually going to accomplish anything just yet. So conscripts pushing onto the victory point. They're going to try to cut off that. We have MG42s, scout cars, and flamethrower half-track defending that center. So it's not going to work. The conscripts are forced to retreat. Sniper still on the field, taking some shots at what it can. Decides to retreat, since there are Osttruppen there, even though the Osttruppens are not very good at shooting. The sniper isn't very good at getting shot. So he retreats, decides to keep everything alive. And we have more shock troops coming onto the field, and they're moving right on top of those Osttruppen. So those Osttruppen are going to get killed off if they don't retreat. Combat engineers forced to retreat after capturing that north, and the scout car is now in hot pursuit of the Soviet scout car and takes it out. With no one inside, so no losses there, but it does actually get the kill. Shock troops and Panzer Grenadiers engaging up in the north. The shock troops actually lose that fight. Down to 4 men. The Panzer Grenadiers had 3, very low in health, but they are now getting supported by the scout car and the flamethrower half-track, so these shock troops may even die. They're down to 2 men. The scout car is going to pursue. There is a shock trooper on the way, but ooh, one-man conscript Ura forward get in the way of those shots, and the shock troopers barely make it out of there alive. Second shock trooper squad on the field, however, is mauling this grenadier squad. Grenadier squad just getting danced around with those SMGs. Down to 2 men. Can they make it out alive? I think they will. That guy got a lot of distance. Yeah, there he goes. So he's fine. MG42 also set up there for defense. And we have the sniper taking some shots at Osttruppen. So again, I mean, those shots for the sniper, yeah, he kills stuff, but those are very low value targets. So the sniper is a little bit wasted on those targets. So that's why I said I kind of like that. It's a nice little, I don't know, I guess you could call it maybe metagame? I don't know. Anyways, so shock troops getting harassed by that scout car. Still have some conscripts on the field. And the Soviet scout... no! Soviet snipers! No! Get out of there! Ooh, that was very risky. A little bit of a mistake there by HappyPhace, but nothing happened, so he's fine. Scout car forced away by the conscripts as they roll forward. Do we have medics? We do have medics, so that's very nice. And now we have tier 4 going down for HappyPhace. Conscripts trying to capture their point. Scout car and MG42 just harassing. This scout car already veteran C2, very nice. Veteran C2, it says vehicle sighting and weapon accuracy. So yeah, it actually gets like 20% increased sight range. I'll take a look at that in a second. Grenadiers going for the cutoff. There's not a lot for them to cut off except that munitions, but yeah, that's about it. And snipers just taking some shots by HappyPhace onto those grenadiers. Grenadiers getting reinforced, however, but they will bleed a little bit of manpower. Now, let me double check here. German armored car, it's 30% sight range and 30% accuracy at veteran C2. So yeah, these conscripts are in a lot of trouble against this scout car. Conscripts who are forward against the grenadiers, they just back off after taking some damage, and the half-track is still there. So HappyPhace in a very difficult spot right now. He really doesn't have any resources coming in. He only has this one point next to his base. Conscripts over here retreating. Scout car just harassing them as it goes. They will make it out of there alive, but they are going to take some damage. Scout car also getting in the way, stopping them and increasing the amount of damage they're going to take. Oh, are they actually going to die? They're stopping in the middle. Down to 2 men. There they go. Ooh, barely makes it out of there. Very lucky HappyPhace there. He very easily could have lost that squad. Snipers pushing forward, trying to go for some harassing on those grenadiers. Shock troops getting mauled by the flamethrower and the conscripts Ura forward, but they get caught out in the open by the MG42. However, shock troop moving in for the flank on that MG42 forces that MG42 off of the field. The grenadiers are still there. They're moving back to reinforce on the half track. Sniper shot goes off, down to 2 men on that grenadier squad, and the Soviet scout car, the German scout car moves in, trying to take out that sniper. Gets a little bit damaged, but it's actually still alive at 2 men. So one guy took a gut shot by that autocannon, but he's fine. He'll make it. He's a man. He can take it. So yeah, HappyPhace pretty much pinned in his base right now. Not looking very good. 18-8 does go off on the scout car, it looks like, by these conscripts, but no, it looks like it went out on the half track. And we now have an Su-76 on the field for HappyPhace. That Su-76 will help him deal very quickly with all these troops, and he should be fine. There he goes. Nice shot on the half-track. Long distance shot by the Su-76. And down goes the half-track. A nice pickup there for HappyPhace, so this could allow him to come back. A Faust does go off on the Su-76. RtN Con does not have anything to follow up to kill it. He could, suicide his scout car to try to kill it, because it does do damage to this tank on the rear armor. But yeah, that's kind of folly considering what's on the base. And while the Grenadiers didn't really accomplish much with that Faust, it is veterancy essentially, because the damage does go through and it adds to their veterancy. So yeah, nothing is really lost by doing that. Grenadier squad, however, is lost, so that's that. So it doesn't matter how much veterancy they might have gotten by that Faust, they ended up dying. Unless it was this guy, so it may have been this guy. I don't know. I didn't actually check who it was. I just saw a Faust go off. So Su-76 getting fully repaired. We still have no additional tech for Con, and well, his Doctrine doesn't really have any call-ins aside from the Osttruppen, so he's gonna have to get tier 3 rather soon, I would say. Otherwise, that Su-76 is really gonna go unchecked. He can get pack guns, which he is getting right now, but I believe the Su-76 is pretty adept at clearing them out, especially with its barrage ability. Shreks equipped on the Panzer Grenadiers. Try to take out that Su-76. Su-76 actually in range of those Shreks. It will take a barrage, but they miss. Barrage going down on the cover. Grenadiers are there. They take a shot in the frontal armor, but actually splash damages the Panzer Grenadiers instead. Osttruppen trying to defend the flank, but not getting a lot of luck. And we see a flare on the field for Con, using his sniper to reveal the territory and allowing the conscripts to move in. However, the conscripts do get shut down by this MG42 defending the backside, so very nice placement there by Con, and HappyPhace is forced to retreat. Scout car going very bold, very forward. Su-76 takes a shot at the scout car through the frontal armor, and scout car is forced to back off. It does survive though, so a very tough scout car, getting repaired quite instantly. Veteran C3 acquired on that scout car, or armored car, however you call it. And that actually gives it, well, it says here, hardened crews improve vehicle mobility and weapon accuracy. So what that does is it gives it an additional 20% accuracy, so it's way deadlier. And then it gets 20% increase in rotation, acceleration, and max speed. So yeah, it's just more maneuverable. So Su-76 backing off once again, gonna get repaired. Pack gun is now on the field, defending the forward approach, and we see some shock troops moving around behind lines. Another half track on the field for Con. We'll see if he's actually going for that flamethrower or leaves it with the machine guns. For now, the shock troops will make it out of there alive, and the Panzer Grenadiers are going to get reinforced on the fly or on the field. Shock troops and conscripts pushing over to the left-hand side. Osttruppen trying to hold the line, but they're not equipped for this. They retreat instantly, down to 4 men, probably down to 3, but by the time they get out of there, there is a conscript squad shooting at them as they move. They decide to stop in a little bit of heavy cover, and then move from cover to cover, so they make it out of there quite fine. Su-76 moves up, takes a shot at the half-track, but gets shot from the pack gun. Second shot goes up, barely stays alive. Very lucky there for HappyPhace. He could have very easily lost that Su-76. Su-76 needs to move the hell out of there and get some repairs. Yeah. At this point, needs to clear out that, because otherwise the Su-76 is just defensive. RtN Con uses the infantry awareness on his scout car, which should allow him to see these conscripts. Let's actually take a quick look at that. I know it kind of messes with what the overlay is showing, but let's take a look. And fog of war. Yeah, it shows him that there's a sniper here and some infantry. Okay, so there we go. It goes off. Enough, back. There we go. So, rifle Nate? Wait, what happened?
Shock troops have arrived.
Did it not go off? That was weird. Huh. Okay. I heard a rifle nade going off, but I didn't see anything hit. Oh well. So Su-76 hitting exactly where that thing is, considering there's a flare. Oh, a nice shot on the pack gun. Clears out a couple of the members, but it does manage to get out of the way, so it will be fine. Setting up for a nice little flank here. HappyPhace. He also has 2 guys over here on the right-hand side, so he is doing a little bit of a concave here with his forces. Let's see if this actually works. Su-76 barrage didn't really do much. It only hit once, and these guys are going to get reinforced, so they'll be fine. Even repairs going off on the AT gun itself. Su-85 getting produced, so expecting some type of armor. And on the right-hand side, we see shock troops just setting up there. We see the German forces moving up. However, at the same time, we see conscripts moving in from the left-hand side with more shock troops there for support. So 3 shock troops on the field. And through the center, we see the Su-76 pushing forward, getting damaged by the Shreks and the pack gun. Down goes the Su-76, the sniper trying to hold the line, conscripts retreating, Panzer Grenadiers down to 2 men, a shot goes off at these troops, and the shock troops are going straight into the center, getting on top of that MG42 almost getting cleared out. The shock troops down to 2 and 4 men each, however 1 man left on that MG42. 1 shock troop is forced to retreat, the shock troops are on top of the Panzer Grenadiers getting shot, they drop a Shrek, but they pick it up once again and they force the retreat. Conscripts over and shock troops on the backside. They did manage to clear out one of the MG42s. The pack gun is also down, and the half-track is damaged. Conscripts retreating at 1 man, barely making it out of there alive, and the shock troops are on top of the half-track. However, they don't have the capability of killing it. They try to go for the pack gun, but they get instantly cleared out by the flamethrower, and the Pios are going to get killed by the shock troops. Down goes the Pio squad, and the Osttruppen are still there. The half-track is going to try to kill off the shock troops. Shock troops retreating at 2 men. Flame burst goes down, and they manage to stay out. Panzer Grenadiers going for the pack gun itself, trying to clear it out, and an Su-85 is now on the field. So, a nice little attempt there by HappyPhace. He didn't really do a lot. He managed to kill the scout car, which is nice. Su-85 moves up and takes a shot at the German half-track. Half-track goes down, pack gun shooting back, but it manages to make it out of there alive. And we see a call in here from a railway artillery. Not exactly sure why. I guess Con was expecting units to move through this direction, but there's nothing there. So, HappyPhace, I guess at this point, is ahead. He did manage to inflict some damage. There's only one Grenadier and a Panzer Grenadier squad left. MG42 did get cleared out, however it's getting picked up once again by those Osttruppen. They'll reinforce it probably. And we see the Panzer Grenadiers moving by themselves over to the left-hand side. Soviets now, sniper now, veteran C3, very nice. 33 kills to this sniper, very, very nice. So let's take a look at the sniper. I don't think I've ever talked about the sniper veteran C since we haven't actually seen him a lot. So they still get that sprint ability at veteran C1. At veteran C2 it says increased weapon proficiency, improves weapon rate of fire and sighting. So it's 20% reduction in reload, a 20% reduction in cooldown, and 20% increased sight. So they can see farther and shoot faster, essentially. Advanced weapon proficiency further improves rate of fire. So at veteran C3, they get a 25% range increase on the flare ability, and they also get a 30% reload and cooldown reduction. So quite a bit. So anyways, engagement in the center. Shock troops forced to retreat for some reason. MG42 probably. And the conscripts moving for the point. Victory point wise, HappyPhace is at 257, while RtN Con is sitting comfortably at 500. Not a single point has split in his direction, so HappyPhace is in the back foot there. But he did manage to do quite a bit of damage here. We see tier 4 gone down for Con, and he's getting himself a Panther. So that Panther should be able to deal with that Su-85 quite easily, if it can get the upper hand on it, of course. On a one-on-one, duking it out, you know, shot for shot, well, the Su-85 is going to win that. However, with the help of a pack gun and Shreks, you know, that Su-85 does not have an easy fight on his hands. So once again, it looks like HappyPhace is setting up for some type of flank or two or three pronged attack. Conscripts over on the right hand side of 3 men with a 3-man shock troop squad there. We see the snipers and shock troops pushing into the center with conscripts behind the hedge. And we have shock troops and conscripts moving over on the left hand side with another pioneer squad around there. Sniper in the center, taking some shots at Grenadiers. MG42 catches the sniper out in the open, forcing them to crawl and forces the retreat. Shock troops moving over on the right hand side against Osttruppen. MG42 still facing into the center. The other MG42 is facing the left hand side approach. And a flare goes into the center to reveal the territory. The conscripts decide to shift their approach into this direction since the MG42 was facing them. Combat engineers are there. They're going to go for the flank on that. And we have the Panther on the field with the shock troops and conscripts in between them. We have a shock troop going straight through the center, sends that MG42 turn around. A nice timing here for HappyPhace. That MG42 has not prepared. And the shock troops and conscripts over on the right hand side actually fall back. This MG42 in the center now packs up down to 2 men. Half-track on the field once again, trying to reinforce the units. MG42 does end up having to retreat back in base. And we see a railway artillery going straight into the center, but nothing is at the center. The shock troops, conscripts, and combat engineers are right in the center. Panther goes for the crush on the conscripts and the shock troops, and it does manage to do a lot of damage. Conscript squad down to 1 man, forced to retreat. Shock troops crawling around at 4 men. Combat engineers still sitting there. They force a retreat, but more shock troops right on top of the pack gun. The Su-85 taking some shots at the half-track, and the Panther is right in front of it. Conscripts right there. They could throw an 18-8 if they are capable of. Yeah, 18-8 goes off on the Panther, gets the crit, damaged engine, and the Su-85 now has a very easy time. He just faces its forward engine. Sniper takes a shot at the tank, trying to hit the little vent that they left on that tank that goes directly to its engine and destroys it. And it doesn't hit it, it impacts on the surface, unfortunately. So the Su-85 is taking quite a beating, but it'll make it out of there. It'll kill the Panther. The Panther has no chance here. Su-85, unfortunately, though, not looking in the right direction. Could have finished it off, but, well, there's a second Su-85 on the field, so I suppose it's fine. So Panther goes out of control at the slowest speed possible, and down goes the Panther. So now, all of a sudden, RtN Con in a horrible situation. He still has that half-track on the field, but, well, it doesn't really do much. everything flooding out onto the field, trying to stop the onslaught of Soviet forces. However, you can see the map is now completely dominated by HappyPhace, and he has units all over the place just capable of reinforcing. Sniper in the center, currently holding fire. Should be able to shoot at the German forces if they are allowed to. And the MG42 is coming up, and the sniper doesn't actually capture that point, which is unfortunate, but HappyPhace is in a very comfortable position now, and he gets a triple cap against Con, who is now down to 463. Still a long ways to go, so Con has some time, but against two Su-85s, he now has a very difficult situation to be able to come back onto the game as far as armor goes. I mean, at this point, I would probably just go infantry. Su-85s are a little bit of a waste of space in that situation, but if you don't get yourself something to stop them, they'll just simply go and pillage your base. Panzer Grenadiers, and MG42 going for the center point, trying to stop that bleed. They will manage to do so. Shock troops going for a little bit of a flank here, and they will catch a Osttruppen squad unprepared. Although, no, they actually decide to instead go for the point over here and just capture it instead. Disconnecting this point doesn't really do much, considering that it doesn't have any territory connected on the right-hand side, so I suppose it's not a bad choice. Sniper, now up to 35 kills, pushes into the center, takes a shot at the Grenadiers. Grenadiers going to throw a rifle nade at them, but no, it actually cancels it at the last minute because they moved. So very nice. And shock troops just sitting there behind that hedge, waiting for their moment to pounce. So Con, trying to consolidate his forces once again, gets that half-track back to full strength, and he gets himself a Panzerwerfer. Interesting choice. But yeah, I can agree with that. Like I said, I mean, getting tanks at this point against two Su-85s is really kind of suicidal. You would have to wait a long while and try to, you know, get at least two Panthers maybe and try to catch one of the Su-85s unprepared and kill it, gank it, but otherwise. MG42's just in the center, covering every direction. They do actually manage to do quite a bit. Shock troops over here on the left-hand side getting mauled. Going to be forced to retreat. One MG42, however, does go down. Molotov lands on the second one, and it manages to run away. Can the conscripts shoot it as it runs? They do, but they don't kill it. And the half-track goes down to one of the Su-85s. Panzer Grenadiers are shooting at it with their Shreks, doing some damage, but with shock troops in between them, those Panzer Grenadiers will not be able to do a lot. And they actually are better than C3, so they are able to take quite a bit of punishment, and they throw a lot of Shreks. Look at those Su-85s taking a lot of punishment, a lot of damage, but they do manage to stay alive. Shock troops and conscripts in the center. And HappyPhace holds. And Con throws in the towel. Wow, this guy actually even got damaged. So very nice. That little flank there was quite nice, and a very nice attempt there by HappyPhace by doing those, I guess you could even call them three-pronged attacks. I mean, he was attacking by three directions here, so yeah, I mean, very nice. It allowed him to break those lines, especially early on. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.